So once again, good morning everyone. So today I am going to explain you about the one more concept called within the group policy, one more concept called inheritance. Okay. So probably you might have already aware inheritance means we will get some kind of characters inherited from our parents, correct? Generally if you talk about the inheritance, okay, so the couple of characters will get inherit from our parents to the child, that is called as inheritance. So in the group policy also we have another concept which is inheritance. So when I say inheritance, when you apply a group policy or a policy at the top level, so the characteristics of the GPO will be there, that will also be getting applied for the child object. Say for example, in this scenario, in our scenario, we have a domain called google.com. Correct? Na? This is our domain called google.com. So yesterday I showed you here at the google.com level, there is a GPO called default domain policy. Default domain policy. And within this default domain policy, there is some password complexity and password or security related settings are defined. Okay, how much is the password length? So the 7 to 8 characters should be the password length. Whether the password should be complex, yes, the password should have the alphanumeric and special characters. And how many old password should be remembered by the domain controller? That is called as password history. So you cannot use 20 passwords until unless you change. I mean, you cannot use your first password until and unless you change 20 different passwords. That is called as password history. So that was applied at the google.com level, but we saw yesterday under the cloud in one particular OU, we saw that even the default domain policy was also got inherited. So the characteristics of the GPO will be that the parent level policies will be applicable. Say for example, here at the cloud level, whether you have the policy or not, but if you have one policy at the default domain level and if you have one more policy at the India level, okay, maybe it is GPO1, or at the IT level you may have one more policy that is called as GPO2. But when you go to the cloud OU and go for an option called inheritance, okay, there is an option called inheritance. But if you look at the inheritance, you see all the three policies will be inherited from the top level. One from the default domain level from the google.com, another one is from the India level, third one is from the IT level. Okay, so the three policies from the top level would be applicable or got inherited for the cloud OU. Okay, so that is the characteristics. So if you ask me a question, how can we break it? So there is an option also in the group policy. If you don't want anything that should be inherited, okay, so you should not deny this one, the default domain policy, security policies and all, you should not deny, because that is the domain level policy and those should be applicable for the entire organization. But in what circumstances you can define or no, break the inheritance? Say for example, within the google.com, under the google.com, instead of India, maybe some other country name is there, maybe it is UK, and UK has got a separate organizational settings. And if you don't want that UK properties to be getting inherited or UK settings to be inherited for the child object, then you can go ahead and you can break the inheritance. Okay, anyway I'm going to show that. So by default GPO will get inherit from the parent to the child objects, and if you want to break the inheritance, yes, you can break the inheritance also. Okay, that is why when you see, sometimes you see the conflict also, but you can manage the conflict. Say for example, at the cloud level, say for example you have two policies. One policy says deny command prompt. Another policy says enable command prompt. Okay. If that is the case, there is a conflict. At the same level I'm talking about. It is not about the inheritance, I'm talking about the same level if you create a policy. Say for example, here. Consider this IT as a OU, and within the OU you have three policies here: GPO01, GPO02, GPO03. So one policy says disable command prompt. Another policy says enable command prompt. Here in this case we have the conflict. The computer has got a conflict here. Right now, the computer has got a conflict here. That means both the policies talks different language, and the computer is in conflicting state. Okay, or whatever policy gets processed at the last, that will win. So if you want to change that precedence, you have an option also. You can change the processing order in the group policy. Okay, so these two things I wanted to show you. So what I will do, let me take you to the lab and I'll show you how to handle these two things. Okay, now see, I have logged into the domain controller and I can say this is my google.com domain. It's my Google domain. Okay, and if I go to my group policy objects, I can only see two policies as of now, and there is no new policy have been created, and these two policies are called the default domain policy and the default domain controller policy. This default domain controller policy is there, right? That will be applicable only for the domain controllers. You see here, if you see the scope of this policy, it says it is directly linked to the domain controller's OU. You see here, this domain controller OU is there, and for this domain controller OU only, this policy have been applied. And that is applicable only for the domain controllers and no other OUs. Okay, so if I right click here, see nothing is there. And if you talk about the domain policy, yes, the domain policy is linked to the entire google.com, because since the entire google.com is there, and under the google.com we have many other folders. See, and under the google.com we have domain controllers also. Okay, and if I click on group policy inheritance, see for the domain controllers OU we have applied two policies. One is default domain controller policy and default domain policy. Why? Because this domain controller OU is also present below the google.com. So one policy is linked to this OU and another policy is getting inherit from the google.com. But if I go to the India, see here, if I go to India, I can only see there is no policy linked here, but there is an inheritance happens. What is that inheritance? That is the default domain policy. Why the default domain policy is getting inherit? That the default domain policy is linked to the top level at the google.com, but the default domain policy is linked to this particular OU, and that is why it is not getting inherited here. Okay, so fine. Now what I will do, I will create a group policy at the India level. Okay, just to show you how the inheritance works. Okay, so right click on the India OU, click on a GPO India -GPO1. So you see here I have created a group policy now. So what I will do, let me log in, right click, so not log in, let me edit this one, right click and edit, go to policies, administrative templates, desktop and desktop. What I will do, I will set one wallpaper at the India level, and the wallpaper name would be India only. Okay, if I go to DC01, if I go to data, If I go to wallpaper, I'll select India wallpaper, hold the shift button, right click, you can copy as path, put the path here and remove the double quotes. Because when you put double slash, server name slash, the shared folder slash path, okay, that is the network path we call it as, okay. So let me make it as fill, apply, okay. Now the policy been applied. Now if I go here, I have applied the policy at the India level. But let me check in Bangalore level if this policy got inherited or not. See here, the policy at the Bangalore level got inherited. See here, one policy, the default domain policy is coming from the google.com location and another India-GPO is coming from the India level OU. Okay. If you go to sales and go to inheritance, you still see two policies which are getting inherited from that parent because both are applicable at the parent level. See, within Bangalore only we have this. Within India only the sales, IT, admin, everybody is there. That is the reason it is getting inherited from the parents. So what I will do, now I will take one user who is there in India. Let me go to Active Directory, users and computers. Let me click on India. So India, no user is there. But let me create a user called India here. User India, India-user, India-user at google.com. User must not change the password. Next login. So what I will do now, I'll quickly give access to the PC02 for India users. Okay. Let me log into this India user. So I log in as administrator and grant access. Okay. Administrator of Google/administrator, and you log in as administrator and now give access to India user for this computer, so that when he logs in, India user logs into the computer, he will be able to log in and the group policy will be getting applied, which is the India level 1. Okay. So let us wait for this to log in. Now you see I have logged in as an administrator. Let me go to local user manager.msc, local user LUSR mgr manager.msc. If you hit enter, you will see this local users and groups. Click on groups, go to administrator and add the user India-user. Searching from google.com, check names, India-user came, click on OK, apply, and OK. Now, see, there are two options. One is you can directly add the user. I have added the direct user here. And one more option is there. There are some groups. See, Bangalore IT Cloud Admin is there. You can add the user to that group. Both way you can give the access. Okay. So now let me log off and log in. I am logging off as administrator, but now let me log in as the India-user. And there is a policy created, and the policy will send wallpaper for this PC02 for the user India. So now go to, this is my PC, Google/India-user password @123. Now you see I am able to log into this PC02 because I have granted access to India-user for this machine, and I am able to log in now. And you see, as soon as you log in, he will get the policy applied at the India one. You can see India wallpaper one. Now you see it is almost there. You can see the wallpaper is coming from India. Okay. Now I'll go to DC01. Okay. Before I go to the DC01, let me go to command prompt and run a command called gp result /r. So this command will tell you what and all policy been applied and is there any filtration is happening or not. You see here the policy, the applied group policy is this one, India-GPO01. From there only you are getting the policy settings now. Okay. And there is another one, another command is there, RSOP. If you run this command, you can see what wallpaper and where is that wallpaper is defined and all. Okay. So basically what final settings have been applied, this is called as resultant set of policies. So the final result of all the set of policies been pulled here. Okay. If you go to administrative templates here, desktop, see, you can only see the result here, nothing else. Under the administrative templates, I went to desktop. Under the desktop, I have created one desktop wallpaper and see what is the path. This final resultant set of policies will be, you can see when you run RSOP. Okay. Now, if you want to see the wallpaper, just go here, copy this one and you can put and you can see, you can see that wallpaper. This is the same wallpaper you have applied there, because it is trying to understand from where and which setting is coming. Okay, that is called as resultant set of policy. Okay, fine. So now let me go to the DC01. Okay, I will try to check one user admin who is inside the Bangalore, or I will create one user Bangalore here, or let me take the user from admin only. Let me log in as admin to the machine, member of see the admin user is created, but he don't have access to PC 02. What I will do, I will add that BNG IT admin groups here so that he will have access. BNG IT cloud admins, yes, I have granted access now. Let me log into PC02 as admin. Now you see the policy will be getting inherited from the top level. So he will get the wallpaper called India, even though there is no policy linked. So let me send control and delete. Now log in as admin. So now let us log in and see, since the policy called India -GPO is getting inherited from the parent policy, you can even see the same wallpaper here. But even though wallpaper is not linked to the same OU, but you still see the wallpaper. Why? Because the policy is getting inherited from the parent. Now I will show you how to break it after this. See here, if I say continue or even close, you can see the India wallpaper. How it is possible? If you go to command prompt, you see here GP result, either /r or -r, both will work. Now you see the same wallpaper India policy. See, India-GPO is coming from there. Now what I will do, I'll go to group policy objects here. At the Bangalore level, what I will do, I will break the inheritance. There is an option called, see, the block inheritance. If you click on block inheritance at the Bangalore level, see there is an exclamatory mark came. Okay. Now let me refresh. And you see at the group policy inheritance, no policy is getting inherited. But if you right click and uncheck the block inheritance. If you refresh, you see all the policies are getting inherited from the parent. Okay. Now let me block inheritance, and if I refresh, the policy got removed from here. Now what I'll do, I'll go to PC02, log off and log in again. Now we will see whether the India policy will be applicable or not. I should not get the wallpaper of India if my inheritance breaking is working as expected, and it should, it will. So let us wait for the login to happen. See, I'm able to log into the machine now, but I don't see the wallpaper called India. If I quickly go to the command prompt and type a command called gp result -r, and you see no policy will be applicable there. See, applied group policy object NA, and India-GPO filtering not applied, unknown reason, means there is no filtration happened. Okay, that means the following GPO are not applied because they were filtered out, because the inheritance block happened now. That is why even though the policy is there at the top level, it is not applied, because it says not applied because I have already blocked the inheritance. Okay. Now what I will do, I will quickly create two policies at the India level. You see here, create a GPO PNG GPO 1. Another one I will do, create a GPO BNG GPO 2. Now you see there are two policies, and both are linked where? Both are linked to the Bangalore OU only. But if you see here, there are two things. The GPO 01, if you see the link order, it says 1, and GPO 02 says the link order is 2. Why? Because the GPO 01 created first, and that is the reason it says the link order is first, and the GPO 02 link order is 2. Here, say for example, if you have conflict in GPO 01 and GPO 02, how to manage the conflict at the same level? Here, if you look at the link order, it says always lesser the number, more the priority. Higher the number, lesser the priority. That means my GPO, if there is a conflict also, my GPO 01 will only win always, because it has got lesser number, higher priority. But sometimes what happens, you want to make the changes. You want this GPO 0 to be win, not the GPO 01. That time you can alter the link order. There is an option, right, up and down. You can just move this link order to the top. See now GPO 02 link order has become 1 and GPO 01 link order has become 2. Now if there is any conflict is there, then GPO 02 will only win. Okay, let me keep it back and I'll show you couple of things. Okay, here let me right click and make the settings. Okay, this time we should not do the wallpaper, we will do some other thing. Okay, maybe we will try to disable the command prompt, or maybe we will try to disable command prompt. Okay, what we will do, and if you don't know how to, where and all the settings comes, say for example in some scenarios you may don't know where the settings comes, so then what you can do, I will explain you how can you do that. Okay, you go to the Google Chrome, you can try to Google like this, how to disable command prompt via GPO step by step. If you type like this, he will give the answer. See, he is telling go to group policy management, okay, and okay, let me open some structured one only. If you go here, you will see the steps and with graphics and all will be there, so that is easy for you to. You will get anything that you ask, you will get it. No need to worry. I got one article here. Okay, it says how to create a policy. It is telling how to create the policy, and I want this one. I want the settings, right? So he is telling me to go to group policies, edit, and go to user configuration. Under that administrative templates, under that system, under that prevent access to the command prompt. Okay, user configuration, administrative templates, system. See what I have to do? I have to go here, go to user configuration, administrative templates, and he asked me to go to system settings, and here prevent access to the command prompt. See here, I have an option called prevent access to the command prompt. Double click on it, and if I enable this settings, the command prompt will be disabled, and this is user settings. Okay, if I log into the computer, only the command prompt will be disabled. For if you log in, for you it is enabled. Okay, so now what I will do, I will apply, and okay. You can read it if you want to. See here, if you enable these policy settings and the user try to open a command prompt window, the system displays a message explaining that a settings prevents this action. Okay, so I am good. Now I have made the changes, and if I close this one, and if I close this one, and if I see the GPO, okay, the GPO 01 is the link order first. So let me log into PC02. Let me log in as admin only. Now you see I have logged into the machine. If I go to command prompt, see it says the command prompt has been disabled by the administrator. Okay, then you cannot do any operations at all. If I just press some key, see it will be getting exit. So now what I want to do, I wanted to enable the command prompt. Okay, then I will go to DC01. Here I don't want this Bangalore GPO 01 should be win. Okay, should not win. So what I will do, I will change the inheritance for the GPO 02, because here in the GPO 01 disable command prompt is there. In the GPO 02 it is not disabled. So if my GPO 02 wins, I am able to access the command prompt there. Okay, let me increase the link order of GPO02. Now you see GPO02 link order has been changed and the link order has become 1 now. Now if I go to the PC02 and if I say log off, GP update also fine, GP update / force. This is a command, GP update / force is a command. When you run this command, there is a negotiation sent to the domain controller, the request, and it will try to pull the latest information. See, updating the policy. Let us wait for this update to complete and then try to open. See, computer policy update has been completed successfully. If I try to open the command prompt now, still the same, but let me log off and log in once. If you give some time, right, like 2 minutes or something, it will happen. But some policies you have to log off and log in only. So admin, login, let me log in first. Yeah, I have logged in. Let me go to command prompt for this PC. Okay, it is still not. Let me restart this machine once. So let me restart this computer and then I will check whether this command prompt is changed or not. I'm trying to log into PC02 now. Login as admin. Logged into the PC. Let me go to command prompt now. Now you see I am able to open the command prompt. Okay, now you can run gp result minus r. So these are the couple of commands you should be aware of. And now if you see how many applied group policies are there? There are two policies. One is Bangalore GPO02, second one is Bangalore GPO01. And see the policies are giving the same range how the link order is enabled there. Now the link order for BNG hyphen GPO02 is 1 and for BNG GPO01 is 2. Okay, the same fashion comes here. Now the last settings actually I want, say for example this GPO02 is there, right? I don't want this policy to applicable for any of the users or at least for the admin users. So what I will do, I'll go to this group policy, go to delegation. Okay, here what I'll do, I'll go to advanced, I will add user called admin, check names, admin add, and I don't want him to read anything. I want to deny this admin user to deny. Okay, apply, yes, okay. Sometimes we should remove this one authenticated users. Okay, but let me try without that if I can be able to see. Okay, log off. Because always the deny policy will take precedence, but sometimes we may need to remove the authenticated users. Okay, let me send control alt delete, log in to the machine PC02. I have logged in. Let me go to command prompt. See, it is working as expected. Since this disable command prompt was there, na, it is that setting is disabled. My policy is now applied the previous one. See here, if I go to DC01, what I have done, I have filtered out. I have filtered out the GPO02. Okay, if you see here, this admin user has got a custom value which is deny policy. He should not be able to read the policy. Since he is unable to read the policy, this GPO02 is not applicable for him. And there are two policies at the same level. The GPO01 is getting applied and the GPO01 has got a setting to disable the command prompt. See here, and that is why it is disabled command prompt for this PC02, within this PC02 for the user admin, no matter whoever logs in. Okay, not the admin. If I see any other user also here, so at Bangalore level admin is there, right? Let me create one more user, test user at the rate google.com, password at the rate 123. You can give whatever password you would like to give, but for now I don't want to change the password. Finish, and I want to grant access, right? Then I will make him member of the IT admin. Okay, bng hyphen it check names cloud admins came and he is part of this group and that group is already granted access to this pc02. So now log off and log in as test user for the pc02. So no matter how many users you create within that OU, for everybody the same thing will happen. Okay, let me log in pc02, but not as admin, log in as test user. See, I have logged into the machine now. If I go to command prompt, see, this is working for him because this user is not excluded from the policy. If you see here, if I go to this GPO02 delegation, you see here only admin is there, correct now? Since admin is excluded, or I have the security filtering, okay, so he is not able to access, but any other users it is working as it is expected. Means the link order I'm talking about, okay, the link order, the GPO02 is winning, okay, that is the reason you can see the command prompt here. But if you don't want him to also see the command prompt, then you have to go to this GPO02 delegation, you can add the test users. Okay, if I remove this admin from here, last try, this is if I remove admin from here, security filtering, go to advanced admin, read permission, if I give, apply, okay, now he can read the permission, okay, last check. Now you see here he will also get the same access or the same command prompt similar to the test user. Let me log into pc02 as test admin now. Google/admin. I have logged into the machine now. Let me go to command prompt. See, now he is able to access the command prompt. If you run gp result -r, you can see the two policies have been applied. So if you want to export the result, gp result, there is another command, gp result, okay, -h. You can export to C colon, or maybe what drive I have, C colon users slash admin, okay, maybe C gp dot html. Or you can do just simply run gp result. I just ran a command gp result space /h, and I'm trying to store this file in d colon slash gpr.html as a file. Okay, now if you go to command your D drive, see there is a HTML file created, and it will tell you what are all the results that group policies are applying for that machine, and the result will be there. You can see here the policy administrator templates under the system command prompt, okay, and these two policies have been applied, GPO0 and GPO02, and what policies have been disabled, India is blocked. See, all the information you are getting from here. Okay, and WMA filter, it is not there. So I think that is all with respect to the group policy. Everything is covered, nothing is left out, I guess. So we can stop the recording and then we can take the question and answers. Thank you all for joining. Have a good day.